work without access to a target is a blind decision. Not saying that it's not possible to receive results from that, but it's going to be very difficult on the client's end. One thing about this type of work is that you got to have muscle fiber for it. And if you're flimsy, it's not going to work for you because you're going to give up. You're going to break. You're going to fold. Now, in the midst of having access to your target, you know what's going on, so you're not in doubt. When you don't have access to a target, what that does is it makes it stronger, it makes it more difficult for the person you're working with because your pessimism sets in. And the fact that you don't have that fiber of patience, you're going to flip. Most people can't do the time when it comes to doing certain workings. Especially when it comes to love magic. You got to have access to your target because if you're dealing with a boko, you know that there's going to be consequences from certain things that your target does. And if you don't have access to know these things, you will be in doubt and you will begin to panic. And not only that, you'll begin to annoy the person who has done work for you. And people, usually in my culture, they snap, they break. And sometimes it ends up being bad for the client because the client who snaps and says, I paid you this money, so and so. And listen, again, I got to refer to Godner Latsus movies because Godner Latsus, unfortunately, a lot of you Americans don't speak Creole. But if you're Haitian American, I recommend that you watch Godner Latsus movies because especially, I think, if I'm correct, Matlot, I believe there was someone in that movie. I believe she paid a spiritualist to harm a female, and what happened was the female didn't see the results until later. Actually, let me correct that. The female who paid to do work on her target, she didn't see the results that she wanted to, so she went to the Boko's house, or the Wugan, he went to the Wugan's house, and she kicked over his altar and kicked over his stuff like that. And what ended up happening was she ended up getting into a car accident later, down the line, because she was impatient. She snapped on the Wuga and basically did what she did, kicked over his altar, kicked over everything whatsoever. And again, the outcome was grave for her. And I bring this up to say this is what usually happens in scenarios where people don't have access. It becomes more complicated because most people can't sit. So I say this. If you're dealing with a situation where you're about to break up with someone, do not close off on bad terms. Because if you plan on working on that individual in the future, it's going to be extremely hard to do so. Because likelihood they'll block you. Likelihood, they'll hold a grudge against you. They'll block your number. They'll block you on social media, and they'll probably not give you access to people around them so that you can learn what's going on with them. When you're doing work with a boko, when you're doing work with demonic spirits or aggressive spirits, there's going to be consequences when your target puts up resistance. Meaning, if they're holding back from coming your way, if they choose to go mess with someone else in the process.